What if someone walked away from their life on purpose, and the wilderness swallowed every answer? In March 2000, Leah Roberts was 23 and at a crossroads. She had recently lost both parents in a short span of time. The grief was heavy, and people close to her noticed she seemed detached, restless, searching. Then she left. Leah packed her car, withdrew money, and drove out of North Carolina without telling most people where she was going. No dramatic goodbye, just movement. She headed to the Pacific Northwest, drawn to Washington State and the rugged isolation near Mount Baker. Friends later said she talked about starting over, nature, simplicity, escape. At first, it looked intentional and calm. She sent postcards. She called family members. She sounded steady, hopeful, even. Then the communication stopped. On March 13, 2000, her white Jeep Cherokee was found at the bottom of an embankment on a remote forest road. The crash looked violent. The airbags deployed. The vehicle was damaged. But Leah wasn't there. No blood inside. No body nearby. No clear trail away from the car. Her wallet, cash, and personal items were left behind. Search teams combed the area, dense forest, steep terrain, freezing conditions, and found nothing. By the end of this part, the mystery splits in two. Did Leah die in the wilderness? Or did she walk away from the crash and her entire life? As investigators studied the scene, the disappearance grew stranger. The Jeep hadn't simply slipped off the road. Evidence suggested it may have been deliberately driven down the embankment. The angle looked wrong for a typical accident. The damage felt more like a controlled descent than a sudden loss of control. And yet, no sign of Leah. Search and rescue teams flooded the Mount Baker area. Helicopters scanned the canopy. Dogs picked up scents that led nowhere. The terrain was unforgiving. Thick undergrowth, steep drops, cold weather. Survival without gear would be extremely difficult. Still, no remains were found. Then the personal details complicated everything. Before leaving, Leah quit her job, gave away possessions, and spoke often about starting over. She'd been reading about living off-grid and admired the idea of disappearing into nature. Some saw preparation. Others saw grief. Her family insisted she would never abandon loved ones without saying goodbye. Friends said she sounded optimistic, like she was chasing peace, not running from life. By the end of this part, nothing points cleanly in one direction. The crash looks intentional. The disappearance looks voluntary. The silence looks permanent. As time passed, the case became two things at once: a missing person investigation and a debate about choice. Volunteers returned season after season, convinced that if Leah died in the wilderness, something would eventually appear: clothing, bones, a backpack, any trace. Nothing ever did. Then came sightings. People claimed they saw Leah months, even years, later. A hitchhiker. A waitress who thought she served her. Someone living off-grid who looked eerily similar. Each report sparked hope, then collapsed under scrutiny. None could be confirmed. There were more contradictions. Leah's credit card was never used again. Her social security number showed no activity. No verified communication ever surfaced. And there was the cash, withdrawn before she left, never recovered. If she survived, where did it go? If she didn't, why wasn't it found? This is the trap of the case. Every answer creates a new question. By the end of this part, only two possibilities remain, both haunting. Either Leah died alone in one of America's harshest landscapes, or she achieved something extraordinarily rare, vanishing completely by choice. As years went on, the investigation slowed, but never ended. Leah's family kept pushing. Private investigators were consulted. Online communities formed. Every new theory reignited hope, then faded. Forensic analysis of the crash kept the debate alive. Some experts noted the Jeep's damage looked consistent with a controlled descent, not a high-speed accident. That suggests intent, but intent to do what? To disappear. Crashing the car could erase a trail. To die? Then why no body? And then there's Mount Baker itself. Searchers admitted a brutal truth. It's possible for someone to die there and never be found. Ravines, dense forest, shifting weather. Nature doesn't preserve evidence. It consumes it. But Leah's last messages didn't sound like despair. She sounded reflective, calm, peace-seeking. Over time, law enforcement shifted away from foul play. No suspect. No evidence of a crime. The case became a question of likelihood. Is it more probable she perished unseen in wilderness, or that she successfully severed every tie to her old life? Neither answer brings comfort. More than 2 decades later, Leah Roberts remains missing. No remains. No confirmed sightings. No definitive answers. Officially, it's still a missing person case. But without new evidence, it may never be resolved. What makes this case linger is the absence of violence. No obvious villain. No clear crime scene. Just a silence that feels clean, almost intentional. If Leah died in the wilderness, nature erased her without mercy. If she chose to disappear, she did something almost no one can do in the modern world. Either outcome is unsettling. This story challenges what closure even means, and whether every disappearance must be explained as a crime, or whether some mysteries live in the space between grief, freedom, and loss. Because some cases don't end with answers. They end with silence. And that silence can be the loudest truth of all.